Our understanding of the mysteries within our planet and the universe remains incomplete. However, it doesn't stop us from being curious about these bizarre objects, with some stranger than others. From bizarre meteorites to artifacts created by extraterrestrial visitors, here are 20 concerning objects that are not from this planet. Number 12, an Elizabeth Fowler's encounter. On a quiet afternoon in November 1954, a woman named Elizabeth Fowler Hodges was napping on her couch when something completely unexpected happened. By unexpected, I mean a meteorite crashed through her ceiling and struck her. While you probably won't get hit by a space rock during your lifetime, the chances aren't zero. This event marked her as the only person in recorded history to be hit by a meteorite and survive. The meteorite, which was a chondrite, caused quite a stir. After the military examined it, it was returned to Anne and her husband. They faced a legal dispute over its ownership with their landlord, but eventually, Anne was allowed to keep it for a $500 settlement. Now, I'm not sure how or why Anne's landlord thought they had a claim over the meteorite when Anne was the only one affected by the entire incident. Perhaps it was the promise of money that compelled them to put a claim on the rock. The attention brought by the incident wasn't easy for Anne. She faced health problems and anxiety following the event. Who wouldn't be traumatized after what she experienced? She eventually eased back into normalcy. Initially, the meteorite attracted offers reaching thousands of dollars, but the interest waned over time. In the end, Anne sold it to the Alabama Museum of Natural History for $25. Number 11, the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy. Now here's one significant cosmic event that you may or may not be concerned about: the grand collision of our home galaxy, the Milky Way, with the Andromeda Galaxy. Astronomers have recently predicted that humans will probably cease to exist by the time this happens, but still, it's quite an interesting cosmic event. The Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest giant galactic neighbor, is barreling toward the Milky Way at nearly 250,000 miles per hour. When these two galaxies finally meet, our skies will transform. The collision is expected to ignite a spectacular display of new star formation, filling the skies with bright emission nebulae and open clusters. While it may sound chaotic, it's unlikely that individual stars within these galaxies will collide. The stars are spaced so far apart that they'll mostly pass by each other. Essentially, what will happen is a massive reorganization of these stars into new orbits around the center of the newly merged galaxy. As for our solar system, it's predicted that it could be flung farther from the galactic core. There's even a small chance, around 12%, that our solar system could be completely ejected from this newly formed galaxy. But don't worry, even if this happens, it's unlikely to directly impact the planets themselves. It sounds catastrophic, but the two galaxies are so vast that it won't affect us. Number 10. Incoming mega comet. Here's another space event that sounds catastrophic but isn't really a cause for concern, at least for now. News has emerged about an incoming gigantic visitor from the distant Oort cloud making its way toward our solar system. This is the Bernardinelli-Bernstein comet, also known as C/2014 UN-271. It was first discovered by astronomers Pedro Bernardinelli and Gary Bernstein. This comet is extraordinary due to its immense size, measuring about 62 miles wide and possibly even larger. Despite its seemingly apocalyptic arrival, there's no need for concern. When this mega comet approaches our solar system in 2031, it will still be 1 billion miles away from the Sun, safely passing by Saturn and Uranus. This distance is far enough to pose no threat to Earth. However, it offers a rare opportunity for astronomers. Its size and activity at such a great distance from the Sun are unusual, and by observing it, scientists hope to learn more about the composition and behavior of celestial wanderers. Number 9. Catastrophic solar flare. Solar flares are sudden, intense brightenings of a region on the Sun. They last anywhere from several minutes to hours and are a pretty common phenomenon. However, in recent years there has been growing concern over solar flares. Our Sun undergoes an 11-year cycle characterized by variations in solar activity, including sunspots and solar flares. During periods of heightened activity, the likelihood of solar flares and coronal mass ejections increases. These solar phenomena can disrupt Earth's magnetic field and potentially cause wide-ranging technological effects. A significant solar flare, similar to the one in 1859 known as the Carrington event, could be particularly impactful if it occurred in today's technologically dependent society. A powerful flare could disrupt electrical grids, satellite communications, and the internet, rendering the entire planet unable to connect to networks. The Carrington event of 1859 already caused chaos, leading to telegraph systems failing and operators receiving electric shocks. If a similar event were to happen now, it could lead to trillions of dollars in damages, affecting power grids, computers, cooling systems, nuclear reactors, and more. Researchers highlight the possibility of such a tech-disrupting solar flare occurring within the next century. But rest assured, there's nothing for us to worry about, for now. Number 8. Extra asteroids. Here's a short but concerning discovery. Recently, astronomers found proof that there are many more large objects in our solar system than we previously expected. Scientists discovered over 154,541 asteroids in our solar system, with many of them being planet killers, asteroids larger than 6 miles in diameter. The remaining ones, although smaller, are still terrifying and capable of destroying cities. However, despite the alleged extraterrestrial ties of this bizarre object, many claim that this image is rooted firmly on Earth. Expert analysis revealed that what was initially thought to be an unidentified flying object was, in fact, a natural phenomenon. A geologist, Richard Waller, explained that the image most likely only depicts the aftermath of a part of a hanging glacier collapsing. In the end, whether this object is a UFO or not is still up for debate. Number 7. Retirement of the International Space Station. Now here's something that, again, is yet to happen but might cause concern. In 2031, the International Space Station, ISS, will retire, marking a significant event in the annals of space exploration. Since its first module was launched into orbit in 1998, the ISS has been a beacon of scientific success and international cooperation. Orbiting Earth every 90 minutes at a distance of about 250 miles above the surface, this floating laboratory has been instrumental in numerous scientific breakthroughs and has been continuously inhabited since 2000. However, the ISS cannot operate indefinitely and will inevitably be decommissioned. NASA intends to retire the ISS by performing a controlled deorbit, ensuring it lands in a remote part of the Pacific Ocean known as Point Nemo, the oceanic point farthest from land. Most parts of the ISS are expected to burn up in Earth's atmosphere, but some pieces might reach Earth. It's quite tragic to imagine that after years of service, the ISS will simply burn up and crash into Earth's ocean. Number 6. The Antikythera Mechanism. The Antikythera Mechanism might be an artifact you've come across before. It remains one of the most bizarre objects discovered on our planet. Recovered from a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera in 1900, this complex device, composed of at least 30 known gears and dating back to the 2nd century BC, is widely recognized as an early form of an analog computer used to predict astronomical events. Because of how complex this device is, many believe it has extraterrestrial origins. For instance, proponents of ancient alien theories like Giorgio Tsoukalos have argued that the complexity of the Antikythera mechanism might indicate knowledge imparted by extraterrestrial beings. This perspective views the mechanism as potentially being a product of advanced alien technology given to or developed by ancient humans. However, while the Antikythera mechanism is indeed sophisticated, suggesting a high level of technological knowledge and skill in ancient Greek society, there's no concrete evidence to support the involvement of extraterrestrial intelligence in its creation. That doesn't stop people from believing in extraterrestrial theories, though, and to this day, the true origin of the Antikythera mechanism remains a subject of research and debate. Number 5. The Black Knight Satellite. Now here's one of the oldest and most prominent alien conspiracies. If this theory is correct, there's an extraterrestrial spacecraft in near-Earth orbit that has been there since the Stone Age. Proponents of this theory suggest that NASA and various governments have actively covered up its existence. Well, that's also a mystery. One key piece of early evidence of the Black Knight satellite dates back to 1899 when Nikola Tesla received unexpected electrical signals in his Colorado laboratory. He believed these signals were possibly from intelligent beings in space, leading some to retroactively suggest these were communications from the Black Knight satellite. Decades later, in 1954, UFO researcher Donald Keyhoe claimed that the U.S. Air Force had detected 2 satellites orbiting Earth, even though at the time, no country had the technology to launch such satellites. Later, in 1960, the U.S. Navy detected a dark object in orbit, initially thought to be a Soviet spy satellite but later identified as space debris from an Air Force satellite. The conspiracy theories around the Black Knight satellite gained more traction with a 1998 NASA photograph, which captured a strange object in orbit. Conspiracy theorists quickly labeled this object as the Black Knight satellite. However, NASA explained that the object in the photo was a thermal blanket that had become detached during an International Space Station construction mission. Despite extensive contradicting claims, The sheer number of events connected to the Black Knight satellite makes it among the most compelling alien stories that ever existed. I'll let you decide whether this alien theory has some truth or is an elaborate hoax. Number 4. The Baghdad Battery. Would you believe people knew about batteries thousands of years ago when Romans were busy in battles? It sounds implausible, but this is what the Baghdad Battery proves if it's legitimate. Discovered near Baghdad, Iraq, these artifacts are believed to date back to the Parthian period, around 250 BCE to 224 AD. However, some sources suggest they might be from the later Sasanian period, between 224 and 650 AD. The discovery was made in 1938 by Wilhelm Koenig, an assistant at the Iraq Museum. He found these jars in the museum's collection and proposed they might be ancient batteries. Each Baghdad battery consists of a clay jar about 5 inches tall with a copper cylinder inside, sealed at the bottom with copper and capped with asphalt. An iron rod was placed in the cylinder, suggesting that when filled with an acidic agent like vinegar or wine, the device could have functioned as a galvanic cell capable of generating a small electrical current. But how could that be possible? The concept of the Baghdad battery as an ancient electrical device has led to various theories about its potential use. Some suggest it could have been used for electroplating, although this is contested by experts who argue that the methods and artifacts from that period indicate the use of different techniques for gilding, such as fire gilding with mercury. Others have proposed it might have been used for medical electrotherapy or electroacupuncture. However, these theories are speculative, as there's no direct evidence to confirm these uses. Even so, many continue to believe that the Baghdad battery was created by extraterrestrials who had greater knowledge to help people at the time. The dimensions are 2.2 m wide by 3.6 m long, about 7 feet by 12 feet, and this imposing stone weighs an impressive 7 tons. One of the most talked about aspects of the sarcophagus lid is its interpretation by advocates of the ancient alien theory, notably highlighted by Erich von Daniken in his book Chariots of the Gods. Certain interpretations propose that Haeckel is engaging with machinery, possibly wearing a breathing apparatus, adjusting knobs with his hands, and operating pedals with his feet, all while seated in what could be described as a flying machine. The scene suggests he might be preparing for travel or is currently in motion. His body posture resembles the bracing stance of contemporary astronauts during takeoff. This interpretation, however, is highly speculative and not supported by mainstream archaeology. Experts in Mayan history and archaeology interpret the iconography of the sarcophagus lid differently. They see it as a classical depiction of Mayan art, relating closely to the temple's interior and other temples centered on world trees. The lid is thought to show Haeckel's transition to the afterlife, with imagery that includes cosmological signs such as the sun, moon, and stars and what is interpreted as a cruciform world tree at the center. This interpretation aligns with the understanding of Mayan beliefs and art, where the world tree connects heaven, earth, and the underworld, and the position of Haeckel represents rebirth, not space travel. Controversies also surround the physical remains of Haeckel found in the tomb. There's been debate over his age at death, with some discrepancies between the wear on the skeleton's teeth and the age Haeckel would have been based on historical records. We know he ruled for 68 years, but some theories suggest he was 80 years old when he died. However, the average lifespan for a Mayan citizen at the time was between 20 and 42 years old. It's safe to say that to this day, there are still many mysteries surrounding this tomb. Number 3. The Abydos helicopter. Now here's another historical object that allegedly depicts aliens. These carvings have stirred up quite a bit of controversy. These hieroglyphs, which some claim resemble modern vehicles like helicopters and submarines, have been cited by proponents of pseudoscientific theories as evidence of ancient advanced technology or even extraterrestrial contact. This interpretation has been particularly popular among ancient astronaut theorists, who suggest that these carvings are proof of an advanced civilization or extraterrestrial influence in ancient Egypt. But again, mainstream Egyptologists and scholars have a more grounded explanation. They explain that the Abydos carvings are actually the result of a palimpsest effect. This phenomenon occurs when an overlapping of inscriptions happens, as in the Temple of Seti I during the reign of his son Ramses II. Essentially, the helicopter and other modern-looking symbols are a byproduct of two separate sets of hieroglyphics that were superimposed over each other. Over time, erosion made these overlapping carvings look like modern technology. The initial carving was made during the reign of Seti I and was later modified by Ramses II. This practice of recarving hieroglyphs was not uncommon in ancient Egypt, especially when a new pharaoh established their dynasty and wanted to write over the hieroglyphics of their predecessors. Despite this explanation, the mystery surrounding this historic carving compels many to believe it has extraterrestrial connections. Number 2. Giant Stone Balls of Costa Rica. Discovered in the 1930s, the giant stone balls of Costa Rica remain one of the most mysterious objects on Earth that are allegedly created by creatures out of this world. The stone spheres, often referred to as Las Bolas by the locals, are believed to have been first created around the year 600, with most dating to after 1000 but before the Spanish conquest. These spheres vary in size, with some weighing as much as 16 tons, and are made of a hard stone called granodiorite. The original purpose and creation method of these spheres has been a topic of speculation among researchers. Some theories suggest that they were crafted from nearby round boulders, with skilled sculptors using techniques like controlled fracturing, grinding, and hammering to achieve the perfect spherical shape. The spheres might have been smoothed and polished, possibly using sand or leather. As for their purpose, several theories exist. Some believe they were used as status symbols or to mark tribal chiefs' property, while others think they had ceremonial or religious significance. There's also a thought that they might have served navigational purposes, as many were originally found facing north. To this day, the origin of these stones remains unknown. Number 1. The Laladov Plate. The Laladov Plate is a plate found in Nepal, and it's allegedly 12,000 years old, at least according to claims. This disc allegedly shows a UFO and a figure resembling an alien. This has led to speculation among some enthusiasts that it could be evidence of extraterrestrial contact in ancient times. However, there are also skeptics. The plate first gained attention in a book from the 1970s entitled Sun Gods in Exile by Carol Robin Evans. This book was later revealed to be a hoax by the author David Aghaman, who admitted that he had fabricated the story. This revelation cast significant doubt on the authenticity of the Laladov plate and its alleged connection to ancient aliens or UFOs. While the idea of ancient extraterrestrial contact is fascinating, the evidence for such claims, like the Laladov plate, often lacks credible verification and is frequently rooted in hoaxes or misinterpretations. Even so, many believe that the Laladov plate is genuine proof of alien existence, and Robin Evans' later denial was merely a cover-up.